Sup, champ? And champettes? And champion? We're here at the show. This is our new show, our new game, our jollies and our tinders. We're getting off on the internet here today. Not so sure exactly what we're doing. I got my channel on here, so there's no copyright reasons here, except we're gonna have a good reason to have a copyright problem today, because I got a whole stack of CDs that we're gonna go and talk about today. So anyway, I'm gonna take a quick look here. I'm gonna scroll this down into my channel, move it around a little, move it around. We got me playing the guitar and me playing video games. I don't know, it's just a collection. It's like a portfolio, right? Now I have it right here. It's a portfolio. It's perfect. It was meant to be, and it is. So I also have one cool video up here I got recently on. I made. It was really surprising. It was of a guy. I was walking down towards the mall, and I found this guy playing the guitar, and I threw $20 in his guitar case, and I listened to him play for 10 minutes straight, and I recorded it. I felt too rude to look right at him, so I kept pointing it right up at the top of the ceiling. A lot of strangers walking by. Sometimes you feel like you learn a thing about the world when you see all the strangers walking by and you just capture them for some reason. You don't have a reason to, but I have a reason to, for some reason, to capture like 100 random people walking into the mall. So that one's a really cool video. It's a total must-see action kind of thing here. There he is. I've seen this guy around town. I know that guy. I know him. He comes into my work all the time. Here he is killing it on the street. He's shredding like a champion. It's pretty impressive. I've been having like connection. Yeah. So I'd like to learn a thing or two from that guy. I'm gonna tell you. If I could just have a moment to talk to him and like ask him something, but I'll give him like $20 in the guitar case, like buying his album. Speaking of which, we're gonna talk about some of. We're not gonna talk too much detail about like the art form of like the making of the music. We're gonna talk about the album covers. We got all kinds of like real interesting album covers out there. This is called Sons of Balder, and it's got on the back. There's like this monster-looking kind of man just swinging a broadsword. Everyone's got like, you know, some background on like medieval weaponry and stuff like that. So you also see like it looks like a Turkish warrior of some sort on a horse. Doesn't really say anything about the music itself, but it kind of does, I guess. It's weird how music is like that, right? Well, anyway, so that's a really cool album cover, The Sons of Balder. It's almost vampiric looking. And then you got, this is like literally one of my favorite albums that ever happened in history. It's called Eternal Nightmare by Chelsea Grin. It's an awesome album. It's an amazing album. It's got all kinds of like cool extras added to it. It sounds like chains are rattling. It sounds like the piano. It sounds like an old music box, but it's a piano, right? Anyway. Chelsea Grin, killer looking skull with this hourglass, the sands of time and whatnot. It has an ominous glow. Now I'd be crazy not to mention The Book of Shadows by Zakk Wylde. The Book of Shadows is a 3-volume masterpiece of about 60 songs. It's got amazing songs on it too, all kinds. It's a really great bit. If you don't know The Book of Shadows, you have to look up The Book of Shadows. We'll talk about that some other time on our channel too, probably. Anyway, we're going to talk about album art, because that's what it is. This is High on Fire by Electric Messiah. And it looks like a cave and a giant wizard made of stone. And the cave has a wizard made of stone inside the cave. And so it looks like it's he's a crystal, right? He's obviously just a gem on the wall. But there's like another man over there banishing this thing and or restoring it. We don't know what he's doing to that thing, right? It's absolutely wild. What a killer looking album cover, right? and it's actually really good music. It's really classic old school metal. So they got War Beast. War Beast. Look at that giant pig metal biomechanical monster man. And this shit here sounds like 10 of your friends outside the garage just banging drums and pots and shit. It sounds like a badass. So we're going to talk about some of the other classics here. I got 3 major classics, and for some reason, they don't really have anything to do with each other. We got Pantera, we got Encephrum, and we got Ailstorm. So Ailstorm, it's a pirate. Encephrum, it's like a Viking. And Pantera, it looks like a whiskey bottle. Now this is probably the best album Pantera ever made. It's 100 proof, 101 proof, number 5, the official live album. He did this live, and it sounds incredible. It's the best thing he's ever done. I've listened to it so many times, I probably shouldn't have even had it that many times running in my just room hanging out. Because it would be like, whoa, I've heard that. Anyway, so One Man Army by Encephrum is like my freaking soundtrack to like the first 3 years of my like career, going back into when I started developing this whole channel and everything here. So of course, if you have any stigma against that kind of a thing, no offense, I won't take any offense on whatever you have to say there. It's just I was the one-man army, so any Quaalag, fire beast, demon, spider babes I had to slay, I would slay, unfortunately. Anyway, this is Ailstorm, and Ailstorm is like, it's got this pirate vibe, right? It's piratey. It's got pirate music all over it. And they somehow capture the wave of just like an ocean and a boat, and then they play music on that wave, and it's really good. So that's some killer album covers that I think inspired the music more than the music inspired it. But also at the same time, there's a lot more to say about that alone. So we're gonna jam out a little bit here quickly. I'm not gonna put on my original track, I'm gonna put on a brand new track with Easy Drummer here. I really like Easy Drummer because of this Bright Room. I'm gonna use the Bright Room again because it's the best thing ever. Okay, so we're gonna go into some blast beats. So we're going to test our versatility to the blast beat here, and I'm going to turn on the electric guitar in just a second, and then we're going to rock out to it. So let me just set the volumes and tones, because I got to make sure that it's not just completely offensive. Anyway, let's get right to it. Right, so the best part about a blast beat is it's simple. The drummer has fun. You can feel the fun in that. I wanted to say it was going to be a little too simple for the time. A little too simple. I mean, I gotta kick it up, do some classic heavy metal drum double kicks. This one sounds really blasted, right? Blast beat, double kicks. We're gonna try this one out. Double kick, blast beat style. All right, so I really think we caught the tail on that one. The tail of the beast, so to speak. You see, it's got a double kick and it's got a blast beat kind of style to it. That's what we're going to talk about here. We're going to talk about how the fact that you got the blasts and they're having a lot of fun, and you got the double kicks and they're having way too much work on their hands, right? Well, when you mix those two things together, it should be a lot of fun, right? A lot of work and a lot of fun at the same time. But instead, it really picked up the rhythm and it forced us into a high mode. And if we tried to slow it down a little, we would have to depend on an entire another guitarist. Or we just can't get there. So anyway, that one's quite interesting. We're going to have to come back again and visit that, but we got a few other things to work through before we get on to the primary topic of the show today. Hopefully we can get to it and just talk about it. So excuse me for the rush up, but we're done with our inspiration since the last episode. Hopefully you remember that one. I'm just gonna play something weird for you for a minute. You know why? 'Cause you're trapped. Got nowhere to go. Or am I trapped? Well, if I'm trapped, I'm gonna go. Okay, I'll admit it, that was probably the weirdest thing I've ever played on here. It's gotta be. It was like a weird keyboard, you got some organs you got going on there, and I'm just like playing this crazy distortion side of everything. Anyway, that comes from a prior teaching, you see. We're gonna talk about that now. So in life, you find yourself learning lessons every day. And you find yourself putting together the puzzle of everything that you've ever done and everything you're going to do. And the worst part, or the best part, is putting together that inspiration and putting together all of that extra, the attention and the fine details in your life. So if a guitarist like myself picks that up and he has the dream to just play in front of people, but he can't, it's because he can't play in front of people. Because there's nothing there for him to play, right? Like he can't reach the level of playing in front of people that he has believed it to be. So a prior teaching is something that allows you to be able to play in front of people. It's something that allows you to fulfill some other superficial level of your practice, of your trade, and of your passion and dream. It's a prior teaching, right? You gotta have your background. So of course I start my prior teaching back when I was learning like how to play the blues, right? Now I say the blues because not just like full-on Robert Johnson hitting the chords and defining and breaking the guitar, but I mean just playing one note at a time and bending it for way too long and just really feeling the fact that you're doing it, right? That's something that you will pull out in your future playing whenever you get the inspiration and whenever you feel like you have the moment to lead into something that matters more to you. That's why those prior teachings are so deep, and the deeper they are, they believe the more artistic you can be. And it's slightly troubling because art is taken very seriously by the artists, or even worse, by like the expectors of the audience. And how are you supposed to play in front of someone if they're expecting that much from you? That's not going to work. So you want to be cool and you want to be a good audience, but there's no work to be a good audience. You can't do that. You're going to end up hurting them more. In the long run, in the front run, whatever. You got to just accept what's going on, right? Anyway, to be a part of it is one thing. But now we're going to talk about something else. We're going to talk about jail. And how in this side of the world, I guess you can bring up the color of my skin, if you like. You can talk about any other level of it. But there is a point in which going to jail, being in jail, and or being threatened to go to jail has a way to come into people's lives. Whether or not you make it your choice, whether or not you allow other people to influence you too. But of course, there's always the aspects of which you might find yourself going to jail again, and you don't know if you would accept that, and you start following down a different path of life. Because there's a point where men and women differ, and you don't go to a man's jail, you don't go to a woman's jail. They're not co-ed. They simply aren't. They make each other happy. Men and women make each other happy. Why would they exist together in a prison? It doesn't work. You can't do that. They're not there to have fun. So of course, there comes to a social stigma, and of which a man might force a woman to go to jail for him, and of which a woman might force a man to go to jail for her. Now, they come up to be a little bit different, and when men and women get into jail, it's typically things like possession charges, You hold it, I'll hold it, you hold it. No, shit, we're going to get caught. You hold it. I'm not going to throw it away. If you throw it away, I'll find it. It's worse of a charge. He holds it. Anyway, a holding charge, right? Anyway, so of course, there it comes down to whether or not you're more comfortable in a jail cell after a while than you were before. Not more comfortable being in jail a lot, but just comfortable being in there more than you were before. It's because if you're going to leave a life behind, you got to leave a life behind that you're going to want back. And you can't just have a life back if you're not going to work for it, and you're not going to work for something that you don't like. So, of course, that's going to conclude this part of the topic for a little while. But just know that the Sambongo Dragon's with you in this in a little bit. If you want to stay out of jail, because jail can be everywhere, even though it's like the white world here, if you want to call it that. Sorry for that. It's not necessarily the white world, but I mean, like, the white world's a little different than some of the other parts. It's unpainted, it's uncovered. You got to give it a skin, you know what I mean? So they give it a skin, and that skin happens to be jail. So don't find yourself falling into that slippery slope. So we're going to play some more music here. And we're going to use the easy drummer. I'm going to go down into the tight room because that is exactly what we were just talking about. We were talking about one hell of a tight room. We're talking about jail. And we're going to head over to the hip-hop beats. And we're going to find a nice, badass. This is so cool. This is a really cool track. You're gonna love this. You're gonna love this. Is that okay if I leave the screen like that? I'll make it a little bigger so you can see what my hands are doing too. Yeah, it looks like you're the drummer now. Actually, if I cover it up, it looks like you're the drummer. Yeah, I think you're the drummer here. Oh my god, look at that beat. Okay, let's get into this one. right. That was awesome. Thank you so much, bro, for being around. This is episode 3 of the new Rock with Sambongo show. We're going to talk about a few things. So if you're still here, I know it's late into the episode, right? But like, subscribe, make a comment. Those things help. You like it? That's good. You subscribe? That's good. You comment? That's good. You don't have to spend all your time watching everything you do. You can always come back later. These things are filled with information at the moment. They might not be in the future, but for now, that's the way that's going to work out. Now, it's that weird kind of information. But again, I think we went over the CDs, and we got a few books. I got a few books I actually really like. I'm going to go grab one from my bookshelf. Hang on. That was my bookshelf. Anyway, so this is called Night Angel by Brent Weeks. And I want to say I know what the book 1 was called. I finished book 1. I started book 2. It's kind of a big thing for me because I don't like, The Way of the Shadows, book 1. I finished that. It was awesome. It had a really cool ending. The way he just took that fist and drove it right through the guy. Amazing. So the first 16 chapters I blew through in a single day. And then, hang on. So Shadow's Edge and Beyond the Shadows, that's what's next. I gotta read those ones. He's a really funny guy. He's got a sense of humor like you wouldn't believe. But his writing is he's a very good writer, so for it to be so funny is so, it's alarming. He goes, holy crap, why are you that funny? So that's basically the conclusion of our topic. I'm sorry about my backtrack list here. I got a bunch of backtracks and a bunch of drums, so probably 300 altogether. And the website allows for you to transfer an additional 600 different tracks. But I don't really know how this works. Line 6 is such a big company, but the website of which you go get the new stuff from just doesn't it doesn't work very well, So weird. It's just so far from perfect. It's ridiculous. Anyway, so this is my channel I'm scrolling through on this side over here. I got a few pieces on there that I was really big time inspired before I got into them, because it's the way it works. I want to say I'm always up on it, right? But if you have down days, you have down days. But typically, I run full speed headfirst into these things because I box a lot, and it's a good exercise. It's a good way to get your mind moving, and it's a way to get your body saying what your mind is doing, because your body will say what your mind is doing when you box. It won't say what you're doing when you're lifting weights. And it won't say what you're doing when you're playing music even sometimes, it would seem. So boxing is almost a soul aspect to just the ability to produce creative thoughts. You got to be able to respect yourself after you do something such like that and whatnot. And you do respect yourself after you do something like that. Hang on. This one's just, don't ask. Don't worry, just keep watching. This doesn't matter or anything. This is just something. We're not talking, don't go to jail. Stay out of jail. Stay out of jail. Don't go. Don't do it. No, it's okay. If you have to, it's okay too. Okay, so anyway. Let's talk about some of the games on here. They're so much fun. These are the games that actually inspired what I made. So I'm going to talk about these ones. And that's the old show. We won't talk about that. Payday. Payday was an awesome game. You got to go rob some banks. Werewolf the Apocalypse. What an awesome game. You get to run around and kill things as a werewolf just ridiculously. We got Fallout 3. Big game in my generation because it came out at the turn of the century almost. for our generation at least, we had a second coming in a sense. Skyrim, amazing graphics, everything. Halo, Back for Blood was new. Resident Evil, that game was big in my day back when I was a little guy. When I was a young man, right? Resident Evil was the big title, right? And everyone had it, all my older friends as in like my brother's friends and or anyone who was older than me, right? And every time I'd come into like their room to like hang out and see what they're doing, they would scare the shit out of me with this fucking Resident Evil game, right? And I'd be like okay with it because Resident Evil was cool and I had to watch what was going on. But it would be a constant terror the whole time I'm there. You know what I mean? Like I would be in like a severe case of trauma. Anyway, the werewolf apocalypse really inspired some of that in it because he could just... Anyway, so enough talking about trauma and jail and art covers that we can't achieve yet because we're not very good at making drawings and such. Let's talk about the music. Yeah, I like that idea. All right. Okay. So when I was playing all that hardcore track after track, boxing inspired pieces after pieces, I was making some of these over here. These highly inspirational, to me at least, strange orbs of light in my my collection of portfolio-ness. These strange orbs of light, they don't mark any specific time. They kind of stand out all together at once. And they're just a random bit of space rock. Now, do you know what space rock is? What an idea. Go to a store, pick up a space rock. What are you going to do with a space rock? Well, anyway, I'm almost certain the space rock section is when I started to get my first viewers. I don't know how it happened, but it's intuitive. Look at that. Back to yellow. It's weird. Anyway, it's a galaxy lamp or a moon lamp. It's sold as a moon lamp on the box. The bottom says galaxy lamp. Anyway, it's what I used to capture the attention of the viewer while I played music I believed was auditorially enough to be able to listen to. Because before I was doing that, it looked bad. It didn't look right. It just looked like, it didn't look bad, but it looked good. And there's some views on that one too. And they get to the attention that they need. But the space rock section really was where I pumped as much heart as I could into it. And it's the space rock. So if you go down to the mall and you look into the store and you see like a $10 lamp and you think, I need that, I want it, and you just look at yourself and you say, I'm not going to want that or need that. Why would I do that? That's stupid. I'd like you to reconsider that option. Plant that space lamp right down in the middle of your room. Turn it on, turn off the lights. Just look into it, stare into it, and play some music, play some video games. Do exactly what you want to do, when you want to do it, right there in that room. And really pull out what it is that you were teaching yourself, because everyone teaches themselves something, and you don't want to teach yourself something that you can't sustain and you can't maintain. So that's just a quick Sambongo lesson for the day. And let's talk about the rest of the stuff. We're going to go back to the music here. The music, for me, inspired by, of course, I want to say it was something more like love and more like the sharing of an audience, but it's not the sharing of an audience for me right now. It's literally a space lamp, not going to like jail or something, and like, not me not going to jail, but I had friends who would have not gone to jail, and they're not in jail right now, and I like that idea that they stay away from that lifestyle. So, cool lamps and video games and things that you can share with your friends and or girlfriends and boyfriends, whatever it is that you end up having in your lifetime, whatever swing set you perch on, my friend, whatever swing set rocks your boat. Anyway, I'm gonna go and play a little bit of guitar playing here, and I'm gonna sign off for the episode today. I think it was good. I think it went a little bit long, but That's all right. We can always fix that with the next time we do it. And I'm going to switch over to my favorite track. This track is so much fun. I don't know how it never ends. What the hell did they do? Did they put banana seeds in this thing? Anyway, let's just play it. All right, boys and girls. Hey, thanks for commenting, my friend Soupy Steve. How are you doing in here? What is that? I can't see. Did you happen to follow up on that point? I think you did. I was literally just about to sign off, and we got the rest of the show. That was a bit of the what was that? That was I call it tub dub. It's called tub dub because it's like a big pot or like a tub, and then it's dubbed up really weird, and they like turn the volume down and they let it hover the sound. But it's like if you were to take a tub and you were to smack it with like a spoon, and then you were to take that sound wave and stretch it out for way too long, and then move it upwards, and then move it downwards, and then move it upwards and downwards, and then just go back to hitting it. It's a tub dub, so it's a weird one, right? Anyway, so that pretty much. Welcome aboard, and thanks for seeing that, Soupy Steve. Anyway, if you are. If you are from, of course. How are you doing, Soupy Steve? Anyway, so if you are from my channel and you know everything, like, subscribe, follow along, blah, blah, blah. I don't really know how you are from my channel, but you haven't liked, subscribed, and followed along. That's the weird one. So you do that much a lot so far, anyway. So hit a like if you're not present enough. Helps the channel out a lot. It really does. And make a comment, because if you get comments on there, it makes me look interesting, and if I'm interesting enough, they'll put me somewhere that I can be interesting for them. That helps so much. Anyway, follow me on Twitch. I'm going to start streaming almost every day. I have to get my guitar practice in. So about an hour a day between 6 and 7 p.m. I think I like that idea. I might keep it that way. I might even also stream maybe only twice a week or something. I don't know if I'm supposed to reduce it, but right now it's guitar practice for me, so I need that. It just drains a lot of electricity because I got a lot of things running at once. Anyway, don't do drugs, stay in school, and we'll see you on the Sambongo Dragon for the next episode. And we'll have more video games, so be there for the video games. And yeah, be there for the video games too. That's fun. Why not, right? But if you're gonna be there for the video games, you gotta be here for this. Anyway, I think that just about does it. I'm gonna end the stream soon, so buckle in. We're gonna put on a cool backtrack and sound it out. All right, Soupy's D, do that for me if you can. That's what matters. It's a tight room in there. Anyway, we'll see you later, Soupy.